Hi, welcome to Stampy's Random Reviews and Tutorials. In this video I'm going to show you exactly what to do if you've got a Ford Focus like this one behind me and the heated front screen isn't working. I've actually got two Focuses at the minute, one with a heated front screen that I think's working and one with a heated front screen that definitely doesn't. So I'm going to show you a few real life things that you can quickly do just to see if you can get your heated front screen working again. So I've watched quite a few tutorials on YouTube, people basically taking the car to bits and pulling all sorts of bits off under the bonnet. I'm not going to do that, but what I am going to do is I'm going to show you some real life things you can try on a basic level to try and get this working again. So I think on this car this is actually working on this Focus, but on the newer one, a 17 plate one I've got, it's not working. But I want to start this up and I want to show you this actually working and a few things that I've read on forums that people are actually making very simple mistakes with. Right, it's incredibly cold today. I don't like being cold. I don't like cars particularly either. So I'm making this video for anybody just to help people out. So a few things I've read on the forum are that people don't understand why they can put the key in and turn it and then press the button for the heated front screen, which is down here, and then they wonder why it doesn't work. And I know this sounds really basic for anybody with a brain, but for the heated front screen to work you actually do have to start the car. So I'm going to start the car now and I'm going to turn all the blowers off and everything down here. I'll even take it off screen. I'm going to press this button here and I'm going to sit here and watch this clear. We'll get out and we'll watch this clear and we'll see if this actual front heated screen's working correctly. But just to be totally brainlessly obvious for everybody, you do have to start the car for the actual heated screen to work. So I'm going to leave all the blowers off, we'll go outside, and just so I don't bore you to death I'll do a time lapse. You can probably just about see now I've got these lines developing down the screen at both sides, so you can see that this is working in places anyway. Just to show you what sort of day it is as well, this isn't kind of light, this is pretty heavy stuff is this. So you can see these lines down the screen at both sides. The problem I've got with the other Focus is only one side of the heated screen is working, and you know, life being what it is in 2020, it's the passenger side that works and not the driver's side. So we're 3 minutes in, you can start to see this ice sliding down this window. Now stick with me because I'm going to show you actually where the fuses are for your heated front screen. And you might not realise on a Focus like this, a Ford Focus like this, there's actually two fuses on a car like this, and there's one for each side of the heated screen. I'm going to show you where they are and what you can do to replace them. So if you've got a heated screen that only works in patches or on one side, you might want to just change the fuses. I'm going to show you where they are on a Focus in just a minute, so stick around and we'll see what we can do on the actual Focus I've got where the heated screen doesn't work and see if it makes any difference. I just wish the do one that works actually on these side windows as well to get all this off. By the way, if you haven't seen my other videos on this channel, I've actually got a couple of videos on snow foam in your car. I think one of them is up to about 500,000 views now. Basically it's about how to get thick snow foam from a cheap Karcher pressure washer such as this. I'll leave a link to that video in the top right hand corner of your screen now, but it's really popular. So I've just jumped back in my car now and I can see that this has actually switched itself off. Not sure how long it's supposed to stay on for, but basically with one revolution, if you like, of pressing that button, it's cleared kind of most of the screen, so not too bad really. Another go around and it's basically working pretty much as it should. There's a few bits obviously that aren't working, but 90% of this screen is clear. Right, so I've got the owner's manual, and in here it shows you the full diagram of all the fuses, what does everything, but I've done that all for you. I'm just going to tell you where they are. So this is the engine compartment, it's a fuse box, it's actually in the engine compartment, and you've got here, you've got fuse number 14 here, which is your heated windscreen, it says right hand side, and then you've got fuse 16 here, which is your heated windscreen left hand side. So as I said earlier, there's two fuses, so if you've got a windscreen that's only clearing on one side like I have on my other car that I'm going to show you in a few minutes, then you need to change the fuse before you do anything else. There's loads of stuff on forums about taking the scuttle off and looking at where the actual windscreen wiper mechanism locks off and knocks off the actual connectors and stuff. It could be that, I'm not saying it isn't, but I'm going to show you, as I've said, some real world examples you can do. So we're going to have a look under the bonnet. I'm going to show you where the fuses are on this car, and then I'm going to try replacing the fuse on my other car and see if it actually de-ices and heats up one side of the actual heated screen when I get it back. So I'll show you where these fuse boxes are now. By the way, if this video helps you out, please click the like button or subscribe or whatever you do on YouTube. I'm not bothered really if you do or not, but you can if you like, since I'm stood here freezing my bits off here. Anyway, let's open the actual bonnet. If you're not your car enthusiast, if you're like most people nowadays, you don't even know how to lift the bonnet up. Open the passenger side and pull that lever and the bonnet pops up. I don't know much about cars. My main channel is called Repairing Lawnmowers for Profit, where I repair lawnmowers, but I don't like things that don't work. So let's lift this bonnet up and I'll show you where this fuse box is. It's amazing how many mean comments you get as well. You know, I've got this snow foam video and everyone's like, oh, you ain't got a clue, mate. Subtitles, please, just because I'm, you know, don't speak the Queen's English, you know, all this stuff. But there's a yellow catch under here for anybody like me who don't really know. Pull it, lift this up, and then this big stick thing, push that there, and then over this side here, this is where you're going to find the fuse box. So, as I said, I know very little about cars, but I'm presuming the shape of that matches up with the shape of this. So there's what looks like a 10mm bolt on the back of it. I'm just going to take that off. We'll be able to see all these fuses in here, find the ones we want, and I'll show you where they are so you could maybe replace yours and get your heated front screen working again. So looking at the back of this, it said it was a 10mm. I think it's an 8mm, might even be smaller. Yeah, I think it's either a 7 or a 6mm socket, so I'll get the right one. He said I was no expert. It's actually a 6, and that's 6mm socket. Yeah, if you can get a spanner in or something adjustable to get on there, take this off, and this just releases the cover for this fuse box. Oh god, it's freezing. And of course you can only really film these videos on a really cold day, can't you? So here I am on New Year's Eve filming a video on how to get your heated screen working again. It's pretty much all you can do in it in this year, 2020. It's just, you know, if you get a trip to Toolstation, you've done well, haven't you? It's bad, isn't it, really? Anyway, take that off, put that in my pocket, and let's try and get this off here. Right, so there's a catch down the back of it. If you put your two fingers on the little catch at the back, after you've taken this bolt out of here, you can pull this, and this whole thing comes off, and then you can match up the fuse with the actual diagram in the owner's manual, so I'll do that now. So I've done my best to lie the book in the same direction as the fuse box, so you've got this larger bit sticking here at the left hand side here, which is this, and I think we said it was fuse number 14 and 16. So looking from here, we've got these ones here, so it's this one and this one. I'll do a close-up on this and I'll show you exactly which ones they are. So fuses in 14 and 16 are for your heated front screen. These are these two here, and they've got 40 written on them. So if we zoom in on there, you'll be able to see exactly what I can see now. These are the two fuses for each side of your heated screen. So I guess all you could do really if you're having problems is you could pull these fuses out, have a look at them, or just replace them, swap them with other fuses. And that's what I'm going to do on my other Focus when it comes back and it's iced up again. I'm going to get some of these fuses and put them in and see if it clears the problem I've got of it only kind of demisting one side of the window. It's an exact line down my other Focus where it stops, so I'm really hoping it's a fuse. But for anybody who's got one of these heated screens that isn't working, the first thing I would do is lift this fuse box off and replace these two fuses. To replace these fuses, you can get yourself a pair of pliers like this, and you can just lift out these fuses. Be real careful just to pull it out. And I'm not sure about these fuses, I'm not really expert with these. I know in the old ones you used to be able to look in the top here and you can see if like the wire was broken. There's still a couple of little wires on each side through here. You can see through this little glass plastic screen at the top here. It might just be worth looking on your car if these are broken and replacing this fuse. But I know on this car this screen's working fairly well, so I'm going to pop this back. But these are the two fuses that make this heated windscreen work on this Ford Focus. I just want to try and show you in there. I'm not sure if you can see at the top there, there's like the wires where they're still connected. You can see where they're still soldered on. I'm only guessing this, and please leave me a comment in the comment section, but I think if the fuse was broken, that wire would have broken as well. I think that's the old school way it used to work, so leave me a message and let me know about that. This is the thing I'm going to swap in my newer Ford Focus, where only half of the windscreen's working. And I have to admit, I thought these were going to be kind of old school fuses like this, and I have some replacement ones of these, and I don't have any of these. So what I'm going to do when my other car comes back is I'm going to take the fuses out of it the same way I'm going to show you that I've just showed you on here. I'm not going to show all that again, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the fuses with the 2 fuses out of this car, and I'm going to try it in the other car and see if the actual windscreen works properly. So for anybody who's only got one car and they're struggling to work it out, this would be the thing I would do first. Make sure that the car's running for the actual heated front screen to work as well, which sounds really basic, but there's a lot of people making that mistake. Right, so if you just screamed and like left me abuse in the comment section, which you probably have, I've just noticed this. This is a little fuse puller. So I use my pliers, which I probably shouldn't have done, so if you've already written a nasty comment, then just leave it, it's fine. But basically this comes on the underside of the fuse box. There's actually the diagram underneath here as well that tells you the number of all the fuses, but if you get this, it kind of opens up as well. It's probably the better way to do it. You can slide this down here like this, and you can actually grab these fuses and pull them out using this. So if you haven't got the tool, you can use that one. But yeah, that's something I've just noticed. I won't know where that was there, but if you already screamed out loud in the comment section, I wanted to film that bit just to put your mind at rest. So I'm going to wait for my other car to come back now. I'm going to wait for the windscreen to freeze over. I'm going to put these 2 fuses in my other car and then see if the whole windscreen clears. But before I do that, I'll show you the exact problems I'm having with it, and hopefully if you're having a similar problem and it works for me, it'll work for you as well. So like any good YouTuber, I'll leave a link in the description to these fuses. I've got my phone on me and I'm going to read from my phone just so I can tell you exactly what these fuses are. These are actually called Ford 32 volt 40 amp green fuses, if you want to look them up. As I said, there will be a link in the description below this video where you can purchase these from. So just a quick note about this channel as well, I only kind of film a video once every few months, so if you subscribe and tick the bell notification, you're not going to get bombarded with emails. But I do very random reviews on this channel. I've done things from taking a mastic off around your bath. I've done a video with over 1 million views on how to get your skybox working when there's no signal. Just really random things, reviews and tutorials. So if you're into that sort of thing, give me a subscribe. Right, so I've got my other car back now. I'm going to open this fuse box up. We'll have a look at these fuses and just see if we can see any problems with them. Now there are some videos on YouTube that show some other things. Apparently the windscreen wiper mechanisms that run underneath here, when they move about, there's like a cable or some sort of ribbon that runs to the actual windscreen itself. And I've heard that with the mechanism of the windscreen wipers, it can knock these little cables out. So I'll have a quick look around after I've done this, and we'll just have a look around there, and I'll try and show you where they are if I can. But for now I'm just going to open this fuse box up the same as I did on the other one. And I'm hoping to find something wrong with the fuses. I'm hoping to kind of look in one and see if there's a break in the wire or something. So I'll quickly take this cover off. So obviously you can see exactly the same thing again. I've got these 2 fuses and I'm just looking down from the top here, and I can't see a problem with them. I'll pull them out with this little tool here and I'll have a closer look. But what I can do, I know one half of the screen is actually clearing, which is the passenger side. What I can do is I can swap these 2 around overnight, and I can see if I can actually clear the driver's side tomorrow when this screen's iced up again. So all I've done really is I'm pulling the fuse out and having a look at the top, making sure there's nothing obvious there. I'm going to swap these 2 over, and when it's, as I said, when it's iced over in the morning, I'm going to come out, start the car and turn the heated screen on, and hopefully it'll clear the opposite side because I've swapped the fuses. And I really hope this is a fuse problem, so if it's not, it could potentially be a little bit of an expensive fix, or a little bit of a fiddly fix anyway. Right, so I've swapped these over now. I'm going to put this back. I was going to actually replace these and swap them from the 2 off the other car, but I'm not going to do that. First of all, I'm going to remove this bit of plastic here that Ford have nicely left in there. I'm going to leave it overnight, leave it to frost over, and we'll try this again in the morning. Right, now I'm going to move on to the next bit, 'cause if that don't work for you, there's something else that I've seen in a lot of videos. The actual wiper motors inside here, apparently there's like a ribbon cable that goes from the underside of this, I think they call it scuttle panel. It goes to probably to the bottom of the windscreen where everything connects, but I'm going to take this off here. I'm just going to have a look under here and see what I can find, because I can probably see the mechanism there. I think that's the mechanism for the wipers, or part of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the wipers going, see what's touching what, and just see if anything's moving anything. I don't exactly know what all these connectors are, but I can have a look around and see what's moving what, because if it's not the fuse, it must be something to do with the connector that goes to the actual heated windscreen itself. And of course I'm crossing everything that it's just a fuse, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the fuse. I can't actually see anything wrong with that, so let's take a quick look. I'll start this wiper mechanism up and we'll see what we can see. So in all honesty, got these wipers going, nothing really. I can't really, without taking everything off here, which I'm not going to do by the way, I actually can't physically see anything that's touching anything else without taking these panels off. I don't really want to have to take the panels off, although I may do. It doesn't look too difficult a job, it's only some Torx parts there I can take off, but I'm hoping it's the fuse. But I was hoping if I took that part off, I could kind of have a quick look underneath here. I want to film under here for anyone who's thinking of doing this, just to save you kind of doing it. I'm not sure what all these connectors are for, but of course they could be for the heated screen, couldn't they? So I'll do a bit of more investigation work and we'll come back and we'll see exactly what's happening with this frozen screen in the morning. Right, so from the pictures I've just shown you, or I'm showing you now, you can probably see that the left hand side of this screen still isn't working, but it's just snowed actually. This has been sat in car about an hour, so for anybody wanting to know if this actually clears snow off your windscreen, at least you'll be able to see what happens. So I'm just going to start the car up and leave this heated screen going and show you if it melts this snow, at least on one side of the screen. Right, so I've just started this car up and turned this screen on, so I'll leave it on time lapse and I'll show you exactly what happens. So as you can see now, this is obviously not working. It's really frustrating is this, but I'm going to show you where I think the problem is and what it is. I'm going to leave a link in the description of this video to the best answer I've found for fixing this, because it's going to get a bit more in depth than I want to do. I don't want to start taking these old wiper arms off and everything like that. So I'm going to show you where you need to look if you want to do it yourself, and I'm also going to put a link to the best description of how to repair this I found on the internet as well. So just bear with me one more minute and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So I think the problem with this one is there's actually a ribbon that runs to both sides of this windscreen, and it runs to it underneath this panel here at each side. Apparently it runs at each side, but at the driver's side on this car, this is where most of the mechanism moves round, and apparently it can catch this copper ribbon at this side, which would make sense because if there's no mechanism at this side then it's less chance of knocking it off. So unfortunately for me, I seem to have got to the point where I think it's that. Now you can replace this on an older car. I'll probably just have a go at this, but what you need to do is you need to take off this cover here. There's a cover, I just can't get it off, it's frozen on, but you can take this off here and take off the scuttle panel under here, and at least you can have a look at where it connects to the window. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go that far in this video. You'll be disappointed to hear. As I've said, I will put a link in the description that someone's written out on a Ford forum, and after hours of searching on the internet, it's the best thing I've found that shows you exactly how to do that. But if you're going to do this, you might want to mark on your windscreen with a little bit of tape just showing you where your wipers actually sit. And I would recommend, if you're going to do it, use maybe an impact tool to quickly zip this bolt off, because apparently when you start on doing this you can move the wipers and then you'll have to get into the sort of game of recalibrating them, and they might all be crashing together when you put it back together, which is the reason I don't want to do it really. I don't want to take the wipers off, get it all sorted, find out I can't fix it, and then find out I've got wipers that aren't calibrated that are all crashing into each other and stuff. So that's as far as I'm going to take it, but I hope just showing you where the fuses are and a few other little things on this video might have helped you out. So don't get too disheartened. I'm not going to take it apart, because there is a guide in the description of exactly how to do it. And I'll also put in there, if I can find it, there's a couple of videos that show you exactly how to take this part off and exactly what's underneath. But there's very limited knowledge of this actually on the internet. So unfortunately in this video that's all I can show you really without actually dismantling the car. As I said, if it was a few years older I would probably have a go at taking this apart myself, but if the ribbon has broken it's quite difficult to fix these back together. Apparently you can, in some instances you can kind of solder it back together, but it's a case of copper and little squares and all things you've got to try and do with it. But one guy, I will mention, one guy had actually managed to fix it just by putting a bolt through it and like a nut on the back of it and getting a connectivity doing that without soldering it. So if your ribbon's broken, you can see it, you might want to try that. That might be another quick fix for you. That's all I can do. Sorry I haven't actually got to the point where I fix this, but I hope just by showing you around and doing all the basic things that you can do from home, at least you can have a look and you might be more lucky than me and actually find it's just a fuse. So thanks for watching Stampy's Random Reviews and Tutorials. I hope to see you again next time.